The roar of the crowd is deafening, a sea of flashing lights and raised fists as the world watches two of the most dominant fighters in combat sports history step into the squared circle. This isn't the octagon. This isn't a cage fight with championship gold on the line. This is WWE, the grandest stage of them all, and tonight, the world is about to witness a showdown that no one ever thought possible: Conor McGregor versus Ronda Rousey. Two legends, two warriors, and only one will walk out with their hand raised. The stakes have never been higher, and the tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. The build-up to this moment has been nothing short of electric. It all started with a war of words because, let's be honest, if Conor McGregor is involved, there are always words. The Irish megastar, known for his razor-sharp tongue and unshakable confidence, made his presence felt in WWE in a way that only he could. A few offhanded comments, a couple of well-placed insults, and suddenly, the entire WWE universe was talking. But there was one person who wasn't laughing: Ronda Rousey. The former UFC champion, the woman who once sent shivers down the spines of her opponents with her devastating armbar, wasn't about to let McGregor walk into her world and disrespect everything she had built. Their paths had never crossed in the UFC, but now, under the bright lights of WWE, destiny had other plans. McGregor didn't just want to make a statement, he wanted to own the ring. He wanted to prove that no matter the arena, no matter the sport, he was untouchable. But Ronda? She had something to prove too. She had dominated women's MMA, reinvented herself as a WWE superstar, and stood toe-to-toe with some of the best wrestlers in the business. This wasn't just about pride. It was about legacy. The first time they came face-to-face inside a WWE ring, the tension was suffocating. McGregor, draped in his signature swagger, smirked as he circled Rousey, microphone in hand, unleashing verbal jabs sharper than any right hook. He called her a broken fighter, a has-been, someone who crumbled under pressure when the competition got too tough. The crowd gasped, knowing that McGregor had just crossed a line. But Ronda? She didn't flinch. She stared him down with the same intensity she once had in the octagon, and when she finally spoke, her words were few, but they carried the weight of an entire career's worth of dominance. "You think this is your ring? Let me show you why you don't belong here." That single sentence set the wrestling world on fire. The challenge was laid out, and neither of them was the type to back down. WWE officials scrambled to make it official, but before the contracts were even signed, chaos erupted. The next week, McGregor interrupted one of Rousey's matches, strutting down the ramp with the arrogance of a man who had never feared anyone in his life. His mere presence was enough to distract her, allowing her opponent to steal a victory. The moment the bell rang, Ronda rolled out of the ring, eyes locked on McGregor as he laughed from the stage. She charged after him, but security swarmed in, barely managing to keep them apart. The message was clear: this wasn't just about competition anymore. It was personal. Week after week, the tension escalated. McGregor played mind games like only he could, showing up unannounced, talking trash, and making sure everyone knew he wasn't intimidated. He even took things a step further, calling out Ronda's past losses, questioning her toughness, and dismissing her entire WWE run as second-rate. But Ronda didn't just take the verbal beatings, she answered back in the way she knew best. One night, after McGregor's match, the lights dimmed, and before he could even process what was happening, Rousey was in the ring. The crowd erupted as she grabbed McGregor, flipped him over with a perfect judo throw, and locked in the armbar. Security stormed the ring before he could tap, but the damage was done. Rousey had sent a message: she wasn't here to play games. The contract signing for their match was unlike anything WWE had ever seen. No handshakes. No fake pleasantries. Just two of the most dangerous fighters on the planet, seated across from each other with nothing but pure hostility in the air. McGregor leaned in, eyes locked on Rousey. "You don't belong in my world," he sneered. Ronda, unfazed, slid the contract forward, pen in hand. "Then why are you shaking?" She shot back. The crowd exploded, sensing that this wasn't just hype, this was real. And now, here we are. The match is set, the stage is ready, and the entire world is watching. McGregor, the brash, unpredictable striker, stepping into a WWE ring to prove he can conquer yet another domain. Rousey, the battle-hardened warrior, determined to defend her turf and remind everyone why she was once called the most dangerous woman on the planet. As the lights dim and the first entrance theme hits, the crowd rises to their feet. The energy in the arena is palpable. Everyone knows something historic is about to happen. But who will stand tall when the dust settles? Who will walk away with their legacy intact, and who will be left questioning everything? The answer is moments away. The sound of the entrance music echoes through the packed arena, sending a wave of energy through the crowd. Every eye is locked on the stage, every heartbeat in sync with the pounding bass of the speakers. The air is electric, a storm of anticipation crackling between the ropes. Then, through the golden lights and swirling smoke, Conor McGregor emerges, arms spread wide, soaking in the roar of the WWE universe. He moves with the swagger of a man who has never doubted himself for a second, a fighter who has made a career out of silencing those who question him. The smirk on his face says it all. This is his moment. Or at least, that's what he believes. But the moment his music fades, another sound fills the arena, one that carries just as much weight. The pounding rhythm of Ronda Rousey's entrance hits like a war drum, and the crowd erupts once again. There's no showboating, no theatrics, just pure, focused intensity. She marches down the ramp with the same fire she carried into every UFC fight, the same determination that made her a household name long before she ever stepped into a WWE ring. She doesn't take her eyes off McGregor, not for a second. The message is clear: this isn't a spectacle for her. This isn't just another match. This is a fight, and she's ready for war. As they stand across from each other, the ring suddenly feels too small to contain them. The referee barely has time to signal for the match to begin before McGregor lunges forward, closing the distance in an instant. He's faster than most of Rousey's past opponents, but she isn't caught off guard. She sidesteps, grabbing his arm in an attempt to lock in a throw, but McGregor twists free, backing away with a knowing grin. He wags a finger at her, taunting, but Rousey doesn't take the bait. She knows better than to let him dictate the pace. Outside the ring, the commentary team is in overdrive, dissecting every movement. Some argue that McGregor's striking background gives him an edge: his ability to read an opponent's movements, his precision, his knockout power. Others insist that Rousey has the upper hand: her grappling, her submission expertise, the way she can end a fight in seconds if she gets the right opening. But what no one can deny is that this match is unlike anything WWE has ever seen before. It's not just about athleticism or wrestling ability, it's about pride, history, and two legacies colliding in the most unpredictable way. As the match progresses, the intensity only builds. McGregor keeps the action fast-paced, using his footwork to stay just out of Rousey's reach, landing quick strikes and darting away before she can counter. But Rousey isn't just absorbing damage, she's studying him, waiting for the right moment. Then it happens. McGregor throws a high kick, just a fraction too slow, and Rousey seizes her chance. She catches his leg, twisting with explosive force, sending him crashing onto the mat. In an instant, she's on top, wrapping him up, her arms moving like a python, searching for the submission hold. The crowd is on its feet, screaming as McGregor struggles, gritting his teeth against the pain. But just when it looks like it's over, he fights back. He twists, using every ounce of strength to break free, managing to roll out of Rousey's grip and scramble to his feet. The two lock eyes, breathing hard, sweat glistening under the arena lights. And then, slowly, McGregor starts to laugh. It's not mockery this time, it's something else. A realization. He knows now. This is a fight unlike any he's ever had. And for the first time in a long time, he loves it. Yet outside the ring, forces are moving, unseen but dangerously close. There are rumors swirling in the locker room, whispers of interference, of someone waiting for the perfect moment to make their presence known. Some say another fighter jealous, opportunistic is watching from the shadows, ready to strike when neither McGregor nor Rousey expect it. Others believe WWE itself has plans for this match, that the outcome has already been decided by those who pull the strings behind the curtain. But what no one can predict is how McGregor and Rousey will react when that moment finally comes. The tension is far from over. In fact, it's only just beginning. And as the match rages on, one thing becomes increasingly clear: this isn't just about winning or losing anymore. This is about proving something deeper. Something that neither of them can walk away from. The tension in the arena is suffocating, every second stretching longer than the last as Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey circle each other. Both have been tested, pushed to their limits, but neither is willing to break. The crowd is alive, torn between two icons who refuse to give an inch. Then, without warning, McGregor explodes forward, his fists flying with pinpoint precision. He lands a stiff shot to Rose's ribs, another to her shoulder, and then feints a left hook before snapping a kick toward her midsection. But Ronda is ready. She catches his leg, twisting with brutal efficiency, and slams him down onto the mat. The sound of his body hitting the canvas echoes through the arena, and for the first time all night, McGregor looks rattled. Rousey wastes no time. She pounces, wrapping her arms around his neck, attempting to lock in a rear naked choke. The crowd erupts as McGregor struggles, his arms flailing, his face contorted in pain. He's been in deep waters before, but this is different. This isn't a UFC cage where he can rely solely on his striking. This is Ronda's world, and she's just seconds away from making him tap out in front of thousands. But just as his hand hovers over the mat, ready to surrender, something unexpected happens. The lights flicker. A low hum rumbles through the speakers. And then, in an instant, the entire arena is plunged into darkness. A collective gasp sweeps through the crowd. The commentators are scrambling, voices layered with confusion. No one knows what's happening. Then, just as suddenly as the blackout began, the lights return and the sight in the ring is nothing short of chaos. McGregor is on the mat, still catching his breath, but Rousey is no longer standing over him. Instead, she's halfway across the ring, slammed into the turnbuckle, her body slumped against the ropes. And in the center of it all, standing tall with an expression of pure menace, is Brock Lesnar. The arena explodes in shock. The Beast incarnate, the man who has dominated both UFC and WWE, is now standing between two of the most feared fighters in history. But why? No one expected him here tonight. His music never hit, his presence never announced. He simply appeared like a ghost in the middle of battle, and now the entire trajectory of this match has changed. McGregor, still groggy, blinks in confusion, staring at Lesnar as if trying to make sense of what just happened. Rousey, pulling herself up by the ropes, shakes her head, disbelief written across her face. Then, without hesitation, Lesnar turns his attention to McGregor. A smirk creeps across his face, and before the Irishman can react, Lesnar grabs him, lifting him high into the air. The crowd erupts as McGregor is driven into the canvas with a thunderous 5, the impact shaking the entire ring. Boos and cheers mix into a chaotic symphony, the WWE universe unsure whether to be outraged or awestruck. But Lesnar isn't done. He turns to Rousey, cracking his neck, his eyes locked on his former UFC colleague. The tension between them is thick. There's history here, unspoken, but undeniable. Rousey doesn't back down. Even after taking an unseen hit, even after watching McGregor get manhandled, she squares up, her fists clenched, ready for a fight. But Lesnar only chuckles, stepping closer, towering over her. He leans in, his voice just barely picked up by the ringside cameras. "This isn't your fight anymore," he mutters. And with that, he steps back, rolls out of the ring, and makes his way up the ramp, leaving destruction in his wake. The arena is in chaos. The match is in ruins. Officials storm the ring, checking on McGregor, helping Rousey to her feet, but neither of them look satisfied. They wanted a war, a decisive winner, but now? Now, everything is uncertain. Questions flood the minds of everyone watching. Why did Lesnar interfere? Was this planned? Was he targeting one of them or both? And perhaps the most important question of all, what happens next? As the cameras zoom in on McGregor and Rousey, both struggling to their feet, their expressions say it all. This fight isn't over. Not by a long shot. And whatever just happened, it only made things more personal. The crowd is still buzzing, a storm of disbelief and speculation rippling through the arena as McGregor and Rousey slowly pull themselves up. Brock Lesnar is gone, but the destruction he left behind still lingers in the air like an unshakable tension. This match was supposed to be about them, about settling a score, proving who was the better fighter, but now everything is tangled in chaos. Officials move in, speaking hurriedly into headsets, unsure whether to call the match off entirely or let it continue. But then, just as one of them steps forward to make an announcement, Rousey does something unexpected. She shoves the referee aside and turns to McGregor, eyes blazing with something deeper than just anger. She doesn't care about Lesnar, about the interference, about the spectacle this match has become. She came here for a fight. And she's not leaving without one. McGregor sees it too. He wipes the blood from his lip, straightens his stance, and gives Rousey that same cocky smirk that has made him infamous. It's a look that says, "Fine. Let's finish this." No words are exchanged because none are needed. The referee hesitates for only a second before signaling for the match to resume, and just like that, the fight is back on. Rousey charges first, her movement sharp, calculated. She feints left, then lunges low, trying to catch McGregor off guard with a takedown. But McGregor anticipates it, sprawling back just in time, slipping out of her grasp. He counters with a brutal knee to the ribs, then a sharp elbow to the side of her head. The impact sends Rousey stumbling, but she doesn't go down. She shakes it off, resets, and moves again, this time closing the gap with a lightning-fast judo throw that sends McGregor crashing onto his back. The arena erupts as Rousey scrambles for position, locking in an armbar, her move, the one that ended countless fights in the UFC. She wrenches back, muscles flexing as she tightens her grip. McGregor grits his teeth, veins bulging in his forehead as he struggles to resist. The pain is real. The pressure unbearable. For the first time in his career, he looks like he might actually tap. The crowd is screaming, half willing him to submit, half begging him to hold on. And then, just when it seems like his hand is about to slap the mat, he doesn't. Instead, with a roar of pure defiance, he shifts his weight, rolls through, and somehow, against all odds, escapes. The reversal stuns everyone, even Rousey. She barely has time to react before McGregor is on his feet, launching a devastating left hook that catches her clean on the jaw. She drops. The crowd gasps. McGregor stumbles back, exhausted, but he knows he has to finish it. He drags Rousey up, hooks her arms, and with the last of his strength, he lifts her into the air and slams her down with a modified version of his own finisher, a brutal, unforgiving impact that shakes the entire ring. He drops down for the cover. The referee slides in. 1, 2, 3. The bell rings, and for a moment, there is nothing but silence. Then, the realization hits: the match is over. Conor McGregor has won. The referee raises his hand, and the crowd erupts into a deafening mix of cheers and boos. Some celebrate his victory, others protest, insisting that without Lesnar's interference, the outcome might have been different. But McGregor doesn't care. He stands tall, bruised, battered, but victorious. Then, just as he turns to leave, something unexpected happens. Rousey stirs, sitting up slowly, rubbing her jaw. The two lock eyes, and for a tense moment, it seems like another fight might break out. But instead, Rousey does something no one saw coming: she extends a hand. A silent acknowledgement. A warrior's respect. McGregor looks at her, breathing hard, then smirks. He takes her hand, pulling her to her feet. No trash talk. No gloating. Just two fighters, battle-worn and spent, sharing a moment of mutual respect. But just as the moment settles, the lights flicker once again. The sound system hums with an eerie distortion. And then, through the speakers, a voice echoes through the arena. Slow. Menacing. Familiar. You think this is over? The crowd collectively gasps as the cameras cut to the Titantron, where a shadowed figure looms just out of view. The silhouette shifts, stepping forward, revealing none other than Brock Lesnar. His expression is unreadable, but his message is clear: this isn't finished. Not for him. McGregor and Rousey both turn to the screen, their expressions mirroring the same thought. This wasn't just about their match. There's something bigger at play, something neither of them saw coming. And whatever it is, it's far from over.